Hey guys, what's going on? Steven back again, and I'm back with another 40K video from Major Kill. And the topic for today's video is, what if Horus killed the Emperor / won the Heresy? That is a very interesting topic. A little hard to comment on right now because I don't know what his rules are going to be, since this is an alternate timeline, if you will. So I don't know if Horus kills the Emperor and has taken Holy Terra. Are all the Loyalist Primarchs still alive, or are they all dead? Because now we have two different paths we can go. If the Loyalist Primarchs are still alive, would one of them, maybe like the Lion, no favoritism, step up and become kind of like de facto Emperor? And would he like try to recall all Loyalist Space Marine chapters and Imperial forces and try to launch some sort of counter crusade against them? If all the Loyalist Primarchs are dead, would all the remaining Loyalist Imperial forces just kind of make their final stand and just, we're just going to make our final stand on this planet and just kill as many things as we can? I don't know if any Xenos races would help. I thought I heard in a video, I can't remember what video it was and who did the video, but I thought I heard something about, I can't remember if it was the Imperium or an Inquisitor or Gilliman made a treaty with, I can't remember if it was just a craft world or the Eldar, that in each other's most extreme time of need, that each other would come to their defense. So if Craft World A is about to be completely wiped out, the Imperium would go and help them. If the Imperium was about to be completely wiped out, then either the Eldar or that Craft World would come and help them as well. I don't know if that is true or not. Something like that I could see in this alternate timeline maybe happening. May happen, I should say. Like if the Loyalist Primarchs are dead, then maybe the Eldar would come and help them because they would have no travel. Yeah, they Emperor's gone. They don't have their map quest. They don't have their navigator anymore. So, I mean, it would kind of make sense for the Eldar maybe to come and help them out, maybe give them warp travel and stuff like that, because, the Imperium has the largest fighting force, we'll say, aside from like orcs and Tyranids and stuff like that. They have the largest fighting force. In current modern lore, let's just say, how many fronts is the Imperium fighting against right now? We could have Planet A has the Imperial Guard and they're fighting against Tyranids. And then you got Planet B with some Space Marines and Sisters Battle fighting against some Orcs. And then you got this planet here, Guard, Sisters, and Space Marines holding back, Chaos or something like that. And then you got this planet here with Guard holding back against Dark Eldar and stuff like that. Now if the Imperium was to completely just go away, all those fronts are now gone. There's no one there to push back against them. Now they're just gonna roam the galaxy. Yes, they will obviously fight against each other. Orcs will go smash against, anyone and whatnot. Same thing with Tyranids. But there is, you don't have the Imperium to, keep them in check, if you will. And if you're Eldar, what happens if you're in, one of your craft world, just flying through the galaxy, and now all of a sudden an Orc fleet comes. They attack your craft world. And oh, look at this, here's a Hive fleet floating around. They come across the same Hive fleet. There's no one, the Imperium's not there to, kind of push back against them. Yeah, now Eldar's fighting against Orcs and Tyranids. Yeah, they'll, everybody will fight against each other, but, can the Eldar hold against orcs and Tyranids at the same time? So it kind of seems like they would need the Imperium to have that fighting force to keep a lot of these armies, kind of in check. I don't know. That's my guess. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what his rules are going to be and how he's going to play things out. So that's just my take. But anyways, that's enough talking. Let's get into the video and see what he says.
G'day guys and gal. There are a lot of what ifs in 40k lore, many which actually have been somewhat explored in the source material, whether it be by seeing potential futures or time travel.
Hope the audio is okay.
The biggest the what if that would change everything, is what if Horus beat the Emperor and claimed victory during the Horus Heresy? What if after mangling Sanguinius, he then turboed his daddy? Would he become the Supreme Master of the Galaxy?
Okay, so Sanguinius would still be dead.
Dawn, or the arriving Leman, Lion, and Gilliman? Would the Chaos Gods kill him now that his primary purpose had been achieved? There are a lot of question marks regarding what would have actually happened if Horus got what he wanted. But fortunately, by using my small brain, embarrassingly thorough knowledge of Warhammer lore at the expense of me having a functional social life and sheer girth, I've been able to narrow it down to a couple likely outcomes. Before we get started, the Major Minis painting competition is nearly at an end. Literally 24 hours to submit your paint jobs.
I didn't think about that if the Chaos Gods just killed Horus. Like, alright.
Entries, with many of those being seriously
we got no more use for you.
It's crazy
you did what we needed.
I worked on,
Adios.
Produced, printed and sent out to you guys and gal would get such amazing effort put into them. This will be the easiest $10,000 that I'll ever give away. You guys have earned every cent of it. I'll be announcing the winners later this week in its own video, so if you've entered, keep an eye out for that. But irrespective of the competition, the minis are all stocked and ready for whoever wants them, whether that be the Golden Warriors of the Emperor, the Space Elves, the Chaotic Legions, or other alien forces. There is a mini here for everyone. It's always nice.
I will say his minis are actually really cool looking.
And actually ended up buying a full official army because of it. It creates this symbiotic vibe with GW where the success of one is the success of both. We're currently running a 20% off discount for the Etsy and eBay stores to help get those off the ground, so that's probably the best place to purchase right now. Today we'll go over what would have happened had Horus defeated the Emperor, starting with the immediate aftermath, followed by how it would have impacted the setting from then on. Let's get into it. There is actually an in-law prophecy that detailed exactly what would have happened if Horus won, that I want to start with. However, it's important to remember that foresight and prophecy within 40k is fluid and subject to change on a whim. So while this was a potential future, there's a small chance it actually would have occurred. Basically, it goes something like, if Horus beat the Emperor, the Civil War would not end. If anything, it'd get more vicious as mankind tore itself apart. Chaos would dominate the galaxy, but there would be nothing but bloodshed and war. The Chaos Gods would swell with power, however Horus would hate himself, his small shreds of nobility tormenting him and his actions, until he tears his own forces apart, ultimately ending in mankind's extinction within a few centuries. The Chaos Gods, swollen with power, would then implode as their main food source is completely decimated, resulting in the death of chaos and a peaceful galaxy in which the Xeno races, most notably the Eldar, would rise from the ashes and more or less repeat the exact same cycle that occurred after the War in Heaven. However, this prophecy hinged on Vulcan not being able to get to Terra and create the Talisman of Seven Hammers, a dead man's switch that basically meant if the Golden Throne was to fail or power down, then a mega nuke would completely obliterate Terra and wipe out everything on it, and in the surrounding system. Vulcan did reach Terra and did create the Talisman, hence the Cabal's prophecy went kaput, and then Eldrad fucking killed them all, so no, the only in-law prophecy we have of what could have happened is invalid and would not happen regardless. But let's pull it back a bit and set the scene. Terra is burning and the void shields of the vengeful spirit have been dropped. The Emperor, Sanguinius, Rogel and their elite warriors teleport onto the ship to fight the War Master. Sanguinius reaches Horus first and is killed. The Emperor arrives and the two warriors fight.
So same stuff.
Brutalized, but begins summoning up a powerful psychic attack to obliterate Horus's soul. However, before he can do it, Horus impales him with his talon and then bludgeons the Emperor's skull in, killing the Emperor of Mankind. The immediate aftermath is easy to know and would probably end in Horus's death one way or another. Rogel arrives in the chamber, seeing both his dead father and Sanguinius. He flies into a rage so deep that even Angron would blush. He fights Horus and honestly probably kills him. After all,
Really?
Horus had just fought Sanguinius, the Emperor,
Oh,
and was still low-key dying from his wound from Lehman.
Oh,
However,
okay.
even if Horus was able to kill Rogul, it's probably for naught, as after a short while, Malkador's essence would fade, powering down the Golden Throne and activating the Talisman of Seven Hammers. In an instant, Terra and its surrounding space is completely eviscerated, not just physically, but also on a spiritual level. Demons are not just banished, but given permadeath, as the entire legions of the Death Guard, White Scars, Blood Angels, Sons of Horus, Imperial Fists, Emperor's Children, and World Eaters are also deleted. On top of that, many thousand Sons, Word Bearers, and Night Lords are also killed. The surrounding trader fleet also isn't spared, with the Vengeful Spirit and all other ships also getting in the Emperor's extremely spiteful revenge blast. Horus is annihilated, alongside the corpses of his father and brothers. Jagadai Khan is also destroyed as he was on Terra. Same goes for Vulcan, who likely won't be able to regenerate due to the destructive nature of the talisman.
Oh, wow.
Fortunately for the traders, by this point Angron, Magnus, and Mortarion had been banished through conventional means, hence weren't destroyed by the blast, with Perturabo having already quit the siege before this. It's not clear if Fulgrim was still on Terra at this point, but let's just say he is, and also gets destroyed, because, you know, fuck Fulgrim. The Astronomicon
So
also
some are still
wings out,
floating around out
making
there.
warp travel extremely difficult. So Horus's victory almost immediately kills Horus, Fulgrim, and the vast majority of the traitor legions, as well as Vulcan, Jagadai, Rogul, Sanguinius, and the Emperor. This leaves the Lion, Gilliman, Russ, and maybe Corvus alive on the Loyalist side, which makes the Loyalists seem outnumbered by the traitors until you realize that their legions are intact, whereas all the traitor legions, bar the Iron Warriors, Alpha Legion, Night Lords, and
so we still
Word
get some
Bearers,
out there
now
with
completely
full
gone, with
strength.
next to no chance of rebuilding. Magnus, Angron, and Mortarion are also going to have a very shit time attempting to return to real space, now that all their sons are dead, and there's a good chance they actually won't be able to reform in the warp at all. Either way, mankind is pretty fucked on both sides. Perturabo and his Iron Warriors begin to fortify the Imperial worlds they have taken, whilst the Word Bearers become the new primary Legion of Chaos, with Lorgar even probably attempting to take the title of War Master to himself, although it's a pretty empty title at this point. Conrad will have done what he did in canon, fucking off to Sagwelsa with his legion, whilst the Alpha Legion will go to ground. Not sure what the fuck to do, since the prophecy that they had based their legion's loyalty off was just now shown to be total bullshit. The Lion would go to Caliban, just like in canon, and would likely suffer a similar result, that being put into a coma as Caliban is sucked into a warp storm. Lehman would return to Fenris, the trip taking fucking ages due to no Astronomicon, however since he is a Primarch, his Primarchiness would eventually get him there. It's likely he would then enter the Eye of Terror to search for some way to atone for his failures, maybe even still seeking out the Tree of Life like he did in canon.
So some stuff would still play out the same.
Ultramar, re-establishing the Imperium Secundus as himself as the new Emperor, since there is literally no one else for the job anymore. It's also likely he would establish better relations with the Eldar out of desperation, recruiting their aid to help him get to Ultramar without the use of the Astronomicon. They would most likely help, seeing G-Men as a reliable ally. Mankind would live on, however their role in 40k would be massively diminished. On top of that, the very few surviving traitor Astartes wouldn't have Fabius Bile to help them with their gene seed issues, as he was on Terra when it went kaput. Likewise, the Loyalists would be confined to small pockets, with mankind returning to a similar status like they were during the Age of Strife. Most human worlds would fall without the support of the others, and the human population would plunge dramatically.
Kind of become like the
Eldar, chaos. The
much smaller
would rise,
presence.
most notably the Greenskins and Eldar, since they now have a weakened galaxy to plunder. After 10,000 years or so, the Tyranids would still arrive and the Necrons would still awaken. It's unclear if the Greenskins or Eldar would be able to hold off or repel the Necrons and Tyranids, as the Imperium is currently doing in canon. Or maybe Gilliman was able to get another Astronomicon.
Okay, so yeah, like he was just saying that the Imperium is holding off
Tyranids would still arrive and the Necrons would still awaken. It's unclear if the Greenskins or Eldar would be able to hold off or repel the Necrons and Tyranids, as the Imperium is currently doing in canon.
Okay, so the Imperium is holding off Tyranids and Necrons, so the Orcs and Eldar might not be able to.
Maybe Gilliman was able to get another Astronomicon or Pharos device working, allowing the Imperium to be reborn. Maybe the spirit of the Emperor would reincarnate. After all, he was a perpetual, leading mankind into a second Great Crusade. After all, why would the Emperor have gotten Vulcan to create the talisman if it didn't provide mankind with a slim second chance? The Emperor wasn't really known as a spiteful sore loser who would do something like that for the lulz. It's also made clear in canon that Vulcan getting to Terra to create the talisman is extremely important. The more time that goes on, the harder it is to predict what would happen, as the infinite strands of fate would continue to diverge. But the most likely outcome would be a galaxy dominated by Xenos, as the last bastions of humanity fought to survive, until the Necrons and Tyranids turbo fuck everyone, and then go toe to toe in the most hectic Xeno vs Xeno grudge match ever. The Milky Way would become a galaxy completely devoid of life, either by getting consumed by the Tyranids, or the only thing that walks would be the mechanical soulless legions of the Necrons. But let's quickly say the talisman malfunctions and doesn't go off, or Chaos is able to prevent it from ruining everything. Then the duel between Horus and Rogel would have a lot more riding on it. Regardless, Terra would be doomed, as Malkador's body dies, allowing the demons that were behind the Webway portal within the Imperial dungeon to pour forth, attacking the Imperial defenders from the rear and overrunning Terra in hours. The traitors wouldn't be able to stay on Terra, however. With the Ultramarines, Dark Angels, and Space Wolves arriving, the traitors would have to leg it, as the Loyalists would exterminatus Terra, seeing it as a completely lost cause. Without the Astronomicon, the traitors could easily slip away from the Loyalists. Rogel Dawn would die, either at the hands of Horus or being trapped on the Vengeful Spirit. By this point, however, Horus had fulfilled his purpose and his death wouldn't actually mean that much. The traitor legions would carve up the galaxy and rule different sections, with a few remaining Loyalists fighting for survival. Once the last of the Loyalist Primarchs had been killed or were missing,
so it would hold out. The Loyalists would hold out.
And destroyed by overwhelming numbers, the traitors would turn on each other, tearing each other to shreds in a few generations, somewhat fulfilling the Cabal's prophecy. Humanity would be weak as shit, which would once again pave the way for Xeno dominance. So ironically, despite one of the main reasons for the Heresy breaking out being to make mankind stronger against Xenos, a Horus victory would more than likely result in aliens ruling the galaxy with mankind barely holding on. There is next to no chance that the divided traitor
Imperium would become the new Eldar,
the beast.
dying
a clean
race.
Horus victory or the activation of Vulcan's talisman would end up with a similar result. The only real difference being that the talisman would give the Imperium a chance, whilst no talisman would forever doom the Loyalists. What is interesting though is there really isn't any future where Chaos gets to dominate and rule supreme. It's just not in their nature. They can't govern or manage a galaxy-spanning empire. The Imperium is fucked as it is, even having countless sextillion administrators to keep everything somewhat afloat. Imagine Chaos trying to do that. A bunch of fucking monkeys that wouldn't know how to turn a computer on. They are only somewhat competent in canon as they have a common enemy that they have to survive against. Take that away and gee whiz, their defeat at the end of the Heresy is probably the best thing that could have happened to them. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up a major mini. You won't regret it. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real...
Alright, so there we go. That is a theory on what would have happened had the Emperor been killed and Horus won the Heresy. Yeah, very interesting. So some stuff played out like it, originally kind of would have, the Liar would have went back to Caliban and, his story would have still done the same. Lehman Russ would have still done the same. Of course, Gilliman would have went back to Macragge, become, de facto emperor, if you will, and I guess would have tried to make a deal with the Eldar, and I guess the Eldar possibly would have helped. I didn't think about the talisman and stuff like that, destroying, Terra and taking basically everybody on the planet with them. I didn't also think about, Chaos kind of, all right, we accomplished our goal. Let's fight each other now. I mean, it's like one of the only times Chaos kind of comes together, even fantasy, they came together for Archeon to do, the end times and stuff like that, common goal. And common goal's been achieved. Nothing else to do. And then Imperium would just kind of become like the new Eldar, a dying race, just kind of holding out, and that's it. And Xenos would take over the planet, like you said. Chaos can't really control much. They're just more, pillaging raiders and such, not controlling, an entire Imperium, if you will, what I mean, multiple planets and stuff like that. Yeah, they might be able to control one planet and, that's about it, but multiple planets and stuff like that. Logistics and stuff isn't really their thing. Yeah, so that is very interesting. Xenos would take over. Necrons versus Tyranids, that would be very interesting. That'd be one interesting battle to see. Necrons and Tyranids, that'd be something very interesting. Can't really eat metal. Well, I mean, not going to be gaining much bio life form or bioessence, whatever it is, from a machine. They evolve. Mechanical Tyranids. Oh god, that'd be insane. But yeah, so there we go. So I guess, kind of had a couple of things. Loyalist Primarch, become de facto emperor, try to make peace and treaties with Eldar, and it might work out, and they might help. And then some of the rest of the Imperium would just kind of, well, this is it. We're just going to make our last stand here, and that's it. Just make our last stand. We're going to get overwhelmed, We don't have supply lines anymore or anything like that, so we're kind of screwed. Yeah. So, yeah, so there we go. So that was a very interesting video. I like that topic. What would happen? Alright, so anyways, there we go. There is the video. That was a very cool topic. Let me know, what do you guys think? What do you think would happen had Horus killed the Emperor / won the Heresy? How do you think things would have played out? Which direction do you think things would have went? Let me know down below. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. That'd be awesome. Remember, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on social media. Links in the description box below. Come over and join me on Discord. We can talk further. There should be a link to my Discord down below in the description box. So come join me over there. You can suggest videos and stuff like that. I am trying to be more active over on Discord, so come over there and chat. And yeah, other than that, just stick around. More videos are on the way, and I will see you guys next time.